Hello all you mayhem makers, I'm Mindy with Quilting Mayhem. Welcome back to another summer sampler block. We're on to block 3. This one's known as Big T, which is kind of a fun name. I kind of like this because while simple, because we're just doing flying geese and everything else is square, we have these flying geese in the white background, but these are in this kind of taupe woven print, which I love. So if you're not following my color pattern, just whatever your fabrics are doing, make sure you've got this nice darker contrast to go with kind of this medium to light tone and then your background, all right, to get you kind of this T looking block in the middle. So all we're really doing is flying geese. Once again, if you've done a sew along with me, we've done lots of geese. I do them in what I call a traditional what some would call a waist method, but this is where I have the most success. If you want to do them in a different method, more power to you, but I'm trying to keep it simple, especially if you're a beginner. So you have your rectangle of your background, you have your darker squares, they should have a diagonal drawn on them, and you're going to start right sides together, making sure the diagonal is going from the outer corner to the center. Okay, this is the key part of it, to get the geese going the right way, and you're going to sew on that line, all right? So it will look like that. We will then trim it 1/4 inch and press it, all right? So trim that much off, so it looks like that. We're going to then press it, and we're going to put another square on the other side, this time going from this outer corner to the center there, line it up. Right sides together, which is a little hard to do on camera, upside down, backwards, all that. All right, so just make sure that diagonal is going that way so that when it is sewn and trim and press, you're gonna get your geese, all right? So I'm gonna put this other square on and I'll show you what it looks like. All right, so you will have, for each block, 2 sets that look like this and 2 that look like this. So you're gonna have 4 geese total, 2 and 2, all right? Then you're going to start taking background rectangles and sewing them onto these units, making sure you're sewing it to the pointy side of the geese, all right? So as you have that block, take right sides together and sew this top edge, which what I would consider is kind of uncommon. Usually you're sewing to the other, the wider side, but for this block you want to make sure that you're taking it and you're going to sew so that you're catching that point to make these units, all right? So 2 and 2 again that look like this, and then we're going to lay it out and start putting it together. All right, so you have your corners, your center square, and these units that we just made. So we're going to work across into rows, and then we're going to put our rows together to make the block. Okay, rows are together, and then we're going to start putting them all together to finish the block. So flip right sides together, pin these seams, match them up. Once again, I press open. If you press to one side or the other, just make sure that when you are pressing seams for these rows, you have one side going one way and the other side going the other way, or some are going outward and some are going inward. You just want to make sure that these seams are opposing, so they're going opposite directions when you're pressing, if you're doing to one side versus open. And I'm going to pin this because I want to make sure that's straight, and that one's trying to be a little funky. So if you're new, I definitely recommend a lot of pinning, the beginning and end. Not always necessary, but I want to make sure it's going to line up nice and straight. So you do want to make sure these, when you go to your machine, are lined up and they match. It is important so that your square ends up being actually square. All right, off to the machine. Okay, we're almost there. So we're going to do these ones right sides together. I'm going to flip it so it's easier to pin. Match up these seams. Match this one up. Especially with this woven fabric, it can be a little stretchier, so we want to make sure that it behaves. Everything else seems to be laying okay. But I'm going to make sure when I go to the machine that these corners match up top and bottom. And here we have it. The big T. Yay. I love this. And this makes fun secondary patterns you'll see as you go, because you're going to make multiples of this for this entire quilt. So I'm very happy with it. If you have any problems, if you're struggling with these geese, please reach out. You can email info@Quilting Mayhem. You can call the store. If you're local, you can come see us. I'll gladly help you. I can do video chats, all that kind of stuff to help you work through any issues that you might have. But otherwise, I really hope that this just kind of goes nice and smooth. You get them all done and you're ready to go for next week. I hope you have a lovely day. Keep on stitching.